So the first thing is, are my parents allowed to get information from the school, from the landlord, from anybody like that? And it may seem odd for you if you come from a culture where your parents are very highly honored, and are very involved in their children's lives. But and there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a great thing. I personally believe it as well. The Bible says to honor your father and your mother, so that it may go well with you. And I really believe that is a really wonderful thing, and it's something that my wife and I try and do with our parents, and we hope our children will grow up to do as well. But the law of Canada is different. The law of Canada treats anyone who's over the age of 18 as an adult. And that means that, if you're only 18 years old, the school can't give any information to your parents. Once you're 18, they have to deal with you. And if you're the only person on your lease, your landlord can't talk to your parents either. Now, if they're guaranteeing the lease, they can, or if they're co-signer on the lease, they can. But in most cases, if the landlord needs to talk to somebody, they're going to be talking to you directly. And that's because in Canada, we have privacy laws that are designed to keep your affairs separate from those of other people. And so parents don't have an automatic right to be involved in their child's business. And your parents have no right to demand information from other people. The second thing that international students should know about Canadian law is that there have been a series of scams that have targeted international students, particularly students from China. And in these scams, what happens is the student receives a threatening phone call, and they're instructed not to answer their phone, use social media, or contact their parents in any way. Or usually there's some threat that somebody back in the old country will be harmed, or there will be some threat that they'll do some harm to you here. And then the scammer contacts your parents back in your home country, and they claim that they've kidnapped you. And then when your parents try to call you, they can't get a hold of you because you've been instructed not to answer the phone. And as a result, they think it's true that you really have been kidnapped. And then they try and extract a ransom from your parents. A ransom is like money from your parents in exchange for your safe release. But the reality is you've never actually been kidnapped, right? And so what should you do if you get a call like this? Well, the first thing you should do is call the police. I know in some jurisdictions, some places around the world, police are not really all that trustworthy. But here in Canada, they typically are. And the threat is not usually a real threat, either here or back in the other country. The scammers are relying upon the fact that the people involved might be afraid of going to the police. And so they're preying upon that. So the easiest way to break that is to just go and talk to the police, right?